Christmas 2025. Lights in the media room. Now, I put all the lamps away earlier this morning without realizing that there's not much else in here for lighting. So now it's a little bit dark. So I'll try to, I'm gonna use this to light it up a little bit. How bad is this? I guess it's not terrible, but it's not great either. Well, this is what we're working with for lighting. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is cancel out the door, because this door doesn't serve any purpose. It never has, and it's just constantly in the way, serving no purpose. And it's going to block the Christmas lights. It does every year. So I think if we take this door off of here, it'll just make the room feel a lot bigger and more spacious, and it just doesn't serve any purpose anyways, so why have it? It got stuck. There we go. It's stuck again. There we go. How do we get it out of here? I'll just put this door downstairs for now. It's unlikely that I'm ever going to put it back on, because I'd like to get wood doors eventually, instead of these cheesy white ones that were probably installed months before I bought the house in place of the old wood ones, which is such a shame. Wish I could have got hold of this place a little bit earlier before the bank did its damage, but oh well. Okay, so as suspected, that just makes the room feel so much bigger and much more open. Wish I had done that like 4 years ago. So now when we put the lights around this door frame, the lights won't get hidden. And I think the tree is going to go here. Maybe we will use this later, maybe not, I don't know. I think this I'm going to move over here. This is the plug-in for the batteries. That's very important. It also might cause a lithium fire someday, so we'll have to use that with caution. Hampton Bay camera. I have no idea how that got behind there, because I've never installed a camera in here before. Would blow this place apart. That thing is powerful. I gotta move this. Let's see, should I move this desk over more and put that there? Or should we just put it like this, because it's only temporary? I don't like that there. I don't think that's going to work. I would have rather had the desk moved all the way over and put this over here in the corner too. Well, let's put tree up first, because the positioning of the tree. I guess I don't need this anymore, but those are kind of fun. So maybe I'll just leave it there. The positioning of the tree, I don't know where it's going to go, how far it's going to come out. This is a very old string of DELs. Actually, I want to do a separate video on this because these lights, this is one of the original strings that we purchased back in 2011. And this is what they used to look like. They used to all be this length. It's, I don't know, was it maybe like a 35? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10, 20, it might be a 50. Yeah, I guess it's a 50, but these were expensive. And, you know, it was only a 50 string, whereas usually the incandescents were 100, so you had to buy twice as many. It's really a financial disaster when these things first came out. But we'll just string this up here for nostalgia. This is the only remaining string I have of these. All the rest of them broke. See, these were... There was a reasonable attempt made to make this waterproof on the bottom, and you've got the clip there to keep them in place. These were at least halfway decent quality. They look kind of goofy, but the quality was at least somewhat there 15 years ago. And actually this tree is from the same era. It was probably purchased the same year. This was purchased around 2011. I need to cut this open. Maybe we can aggressively stab it open. So this is the oldest pre-lit tree I have, which I've owned since new. And it generally has worked perfectly over the years, sans a couple of bulbs that have burned out or are loose or whatever it is. That's the top piece. There's the stand. And I think this is the bottom. I always remember finding it confusing that the cord, there's something weird about the cord, like the cord didn't come out from the bottom or something, I thought, but no, this has got to be the bottom because it's got the long piece. I don't know, maybe I just don't remember anymore. I'm getting old and I don't remember. Barely remembered when I was young. Let's see if this is still working. Since it is, no, actually this is not operating on direct current. This is operating on AC. It does have a flicker to it, but it's not like egregious. And it looks like it's all working again. So I kind of maintain my position that if you take care of these trees and you treat them properly, pre-lit ones are pretty reliable. So there's a couple failure points here, like this, but this bulb is out. And I don't know why, because, oh, it just started to, it's got to be a connection thing then. Yeah, it is. It's a connection issue. I wonder if we can fix them then. Maybe we'll revisit that later on in the year. This one was very early on in the... Oh man, my voice is so screwed up today. These were very early on in the era where you had these more realistic looking branches. This was very early on, and it was quite expensive too when it was new. But I took care of it, and here we are a bunch of years later, it still works. So let's see what... That one just started working. And this stops when I put that in. Ain't that something? So this bulb is actually some kind of spoiled. Yeah, it's taking that out. So this bulb is no good. Interesting. I guess I'll just leave it out. I mean, it works fine without it. I know I have spares for this somewhere. I have a whole manual for this thing. It doesn't appear to be in the box, but I know I own it. I wonder if this is the same problem here. Oh, that probably shouldn't rotate like that. No, this is... Oh yeah, this is the same problem. One of those bulbs is dead. Huh. Very interesting. That's taking that one out. Well, I guess we should just leave those bulbs out then, because it's causing more problems than it is benefit. I gotta see if I can find... I gotta see if I can find that manual for these... manual for that tree and get this fixed. I know I have a whole bunch of spare bulbs for that. I want to say I got like 15 or 20 that it came with. Came with a lot of spares. But we'll deal with that later. Let's just get it set up now. Oh boy, I gotta take a bathroom break. I drank too much apple cider today. Can you hear that stomach noise in the video? Oh gosh, my stomach is so overwhelmed by apple cider right now. That apple cider is not pasteurized, and it has a warning on the package. It says, you know, it can cause serious food-based illness or something like that. Some people can't stomach it at all. They'll get real sick. Usually I'm fine as long as I only have 1 cup of it at, at a time. But I had 2 cups with lunch, and that was too much. I know that's too much, but I had it anyways, and now I'm paying for it. I don't get sick from it. I just have need to take a few extra trips to the bathroom. Might as well put on fan. It's not going to heat up much in here from these lights. That's why I opted to put the DELs in this room this year. I put it in the computer room last year, but the computer room is one of the coldest rooms in the house. So I just feel like it makes more sense to put incandescent in there. And then I put the DEL in here because this room's not that far from the stove. It still gets pretty warm in here. So this is how they used to be. You used to have to plug them in piece by piece. It doesn't have a center connector like the one in the kitchen does. This is old school. So you gotta come here to where this is and plug this in here like this. How come it's not working? Huh, have we lost the entire section of the tree here? Huh. That would be very disappointing if that's the case. No, see, I don't think so, because I feel like every year I remember this is always a problem. There's something weird about the way this plugs in. Yeah, see, now it's fine. Something's off about the way this goes together. I knew there was something weird about it. I knew it. I just can't remember what's so weird about the way it functions. Is it because this has to be... Is it because that wasn't plugged in? That the whole thing wasn't working? I think it might have been it. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so that's what I was thinking of. It's weird because all of the plug-in is down there. This is just like a cord that runs up the tree, and it really is up there is where the connection is. Okay, well, looks like this is all still working. So here's a couple burnt out bulbs. This is one of the things that's a shame about these DELs, is that they're not universal. If this was incandescent, I can just keep changing the bulbs for decades. I mean, the incandescent bulbs have not changed, but all these DELs are very proprietary. I have no idea what the OEM of this tree was. Even if I did, I don't think it'd make any difference, because I'm sure that OEM does not sell these bulbs anymore. And for whatever it's worth, although I can tell that this does flicker, if you just look straight at it, it doesn't look flickery. It's not bad at all. And remember, this is early on. This is 2011. This is very early on in the DEL era. A lot of the ones sold in the last couple of years look worse than these. Looks like the top section is working also. I can't believe how much more open this room looks without that door. Incredible. Okay, it looks pretty good. So now let's push it back up against the wall and see where it should go. Sure that nothing sticks into the outlet. That could be an electrical hazard. Okay, I think that works. Doesn't take up too much space. Can still open the closet. Yeah, that won't help. And there's still plenty of room here. I could probably put that little cabinet right here, and that wouldn't even be an issue. Although that thing for the doorstop might be in the way. Good enough. That works. Okay. Put that in there, put that in there. remember that those are in there, so I'll do something abnormal with this that would, you know, kind of raise some curiosity when I open this back up to put it away. Alright, that looks pretty out of the ordinary. So all the original packaging, straps and all, still with us. Taking good care of this thing over the years. I think this was this a Lowe's? Or the Home Depot? Energy Dumb, a dumb way to waste energy. C3 pre-lit just cut. Yeah, it does look like it was just cut. I mean, aside from the fact that the shape is perfect, this is exceptionally realistic. This is very, very convincing. There's 360 lights, 20,000 hour average life. Replaceable, which is true if you could find replacements. 2009 Santa's Best Craft Limited. I wonder if that's the OEM. santasbestcraft.com. I doubt that there would be any bulbs available for this 15 years later, but might be worth a shot. Yep, it was Lowe's. That's what I thought. Okay, so now let's see what we've got here for lights. We have a wreath. This probably is causing some ridiculous glare. We have a flickering candelabra. These are the same lights that are on the oak, the two oaks by the driveway. One of very few LED sets I actually like. Do I have a second one here that works? Only spares they give me. Huh, I actually have two extras at work. Nope, I'm going to keep these inside because I actually kind of like these. I want to have at least a couple strings I can enjoy for many seasons. And once you use them outside, you know they're never going to last that long. Funny enough, that of 15 holiday seasons, it bases it on a very, very high number of hours of usage, unlike regular general service lighting that's based on a ridiculously low amount of usage. These actually look like they were built halfway decent as well. These are older too. How does this even work? Does this come apart? These might not be replaceable. But there's some interesting early stuff in this box here. Alright, so actually speaking of early stuff, these are also very, very early. These are probably from like 08 or 07. Yeah, there we go. June 07. So these we bought in 2007. These are very, very, very early LED lights. And it looks like one of them fell off. I don't remember that being the case. Hopefully that's in the bottom of the thing here. Yep, it is. So these are very, very early non-replaceable bulbs, 0.02 the amps. And despite it being only 0.2 amps, it still says only connect 3 together. Maybe these are very sensitive to voltage drop. So these are green dome lights. These are white, and I think that the coloring on these is actually halfway reasonable. It's not too bad. It flickers something awful though. Those have a horrible flicker to them as well. So many of these are just awful. Cool whites. Not for me. These are halfway decent. These sugar plum lights. I'll put those up in here. And these are awful because they're cold white. I always used to line the ceiling with these, so for the purposes of nostalgia, I think we might do the same. Probably need 2 strings. I used to have 5, and then they all just broke, even though they were never used outside, which is super pathetic. See if these are working. These are working, okay. I think 2 should be enough to get around. These, I remember these vividly. These are super nostalgic. These work? Oh, they do work. These are C3, same as what's on the tree. These are a very early set, and all these ones that still work, there's a consistent trend. The bulb bases are pretty well sealed against water, and it has the little latch that keeps them in place. It makes a big difference because you don't have water getting into the contacts and you don't have stuff coming loose. Alright, what else have we got here? I wanted some C6. We have some dome lights. I remember those. They're not actually Great Value brand as it says on there. Okay, these are still working. East West Distributing Company. What a creative name. Holiday Seasons. I don't know if that was a store brand or an actual brand. Allegedly, these are professional. And it's not as good as others, but there was definitely an attempt made to make that somewhat waterproof down there, and you've got the clips again. Alright, let's get some tacks up here and get these up on the ceiling. I might run out of tacks. Wish I had that wobbly stool up here right about now. Jeez, it's getting cold in here. I gotta increase this. Ouch. We'll start over here in the corner, and I'll use this just temporarily to plug it in. That was kind of a cool sound. I don't think this is going to reach all the way around the room, because it has to get at least over to there, and it's not going to do that. Do these fit around the door frame perfectly? These are supposed to be C9, and the thing is with these, in terms of cost compared to a regular C9 string, these are half the length because the spacing is so short. So these are just so astronomically more expensive than regular incandescent lights, especially back when these were becoming on the market for the first time. Okay, change in plans. Let's use these around the doors instead, because it's a pretty good size for the door. And let's put these around the ceiling, and I like these better anyways. See, the spacing is better on these, but not by much. Yeah, there's no way that would reach. Not even close, really. That's too bad. That would have been very nostalgic, but it is not going to work. So we'll just put these like this on the door instead. No comparison, these look so much better. But these have the nostalgia and these don't. I like that these have a nice pure yellow to them. That's very unusual. Even for the incandescent strings, that's not typical. I don't think that this is the height this was hanging at before. Oh, I'll just have to deal with that later. No, you can't win them all. Just most of them. I didn't feel like it was going in properly. That's better. Come on, body, keep it together. But need to get this plugged in again because now we're using up the batteries. Good. Okay, I think we're gonna put these sugar plum lights, energy dim color wrong, around the windows. how should we connect this? So right now it plugs in up there through this. I think I'm just going to plug it in here. And these really look quite reasonable. They're very similar to the those General Electric ones I bought this year, which I guess would make sense. We'll probably end up going around the window a couple times. So should we go down like that below the wreath? This is another case where these are nice for LED. They're not fooling me. I can tell they're not incandescent, but they're nice to look at. They don't flicker something horrible. The colors are nice. These are nice lights. They're just not the same as incandescent. And they're not too bad from the back. There's definitely was a decent attempt made for this to be waterproof. Actually, that's pretty good. That's sealed pretty well. Are these replaceable? They are replaceable. That's not charged up. Okay, we got to get this wreath up here and plugged in. And unfortunately it has no lead wire, which I was afraid of that being the case. That kind of stinks. What are we going to do about that? Maybe what I will do is I'll put this up like this, and this will just have to plug in up here with the wreath. Okay, now we still need, oh, let's see, this is going to change because this should not plug in up here anymore. This needs to change such that this side is over here. This stupid door is falling apart. It's coming out on the bottom too. Okay, I wonder if we can just stick this into the tree somewhere. Might be able to if I can. If it reaches. It's going to be a close call here. Is this polarized? If this is polarized and it foils my plan. Oh, it's not. None of this in here looks perfect. It's not really, I'm not trying to make it. It just exists. The other areas will make nice and clean. Alright, so all that's left now to plug in is this. There's definitely a nostalgia factor to these, but they are so unappealing at the same time. Alright, I think that's all the LED lights we're going to put up. We'll have to add some miscellaneous things here and there later on.